Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. In the year 3078, humanity's reach had stretched far beyond the cradle of Earth, spanning across galaxies and creating a sprawling interstellar civilization. The stars were no longer distant points of light, they were homes, battlegrounds, and places of wonder. Yet, for all their technological prowess, humanity faced an existential threat unlike any before. The Vrexer, a formidable alien race, had set their sights on human civilization, not with brute force alone but with a more insidious weapon. Their plan was to dismantle the very fabric of human society by erasing human culture and spirit from within. This was not a war of guns and spaceships alone but a battle for the essence of what it meant to be human. Dr. Elena Carter, a leading neuroscientist and cultural historian, was at the forefront of humanity's defensive efforts. She had dedicated her life to understanding the intricate connections between memory, emotion, and identity. Her work had become critical when the Vrexer's assault began, targeting the very foundation of human consciousness. Commander Jake Foster was a seasoned military leader, known for his strategic acumen and unwavering resolve. The Vrexer's invasion was not merely an attack on physical locations but on the human mind itself. Their weapon was a sophisticated device that could penetrate the depths of consciousness, erasing memories and emotions, thus weakening the human spirit. The attack began subtly. People started experiencing gaps in their memories, disjointed emotions, and an overwhelming sense of confusion. Cultural icons and historical knowledge seemed to vanish overnight. Dr. Carter's virtual repository, the Memory Sanctuary, became the last bastion of human heritage. It was a digital vault where memories were preserved, a place where people could relive their past and maintain their sense of identity. As the Vrexer's assault intensified, the psychological impact on humanity grew more severe. People began to question their own existence and the purpose of their lives. The very essence of what it meant to be human was under threat. Dr. Carter worked tirelessly, expanding the Memory Sanctuary and integrating more aspects of human culture and emotion into its virtual framework. Commander Foster, meanwhile, led a series of high-stakes missions to protect critical cultural sites across the galaxy. The Vrexer's forces were relentless, employing advanced technology to bypass conventional defenses. Foster's team faced numerous challenges, from disabling alien disruptors to countering invasive psychic attacks. The team's morale was tested with every new wave of Vrexer onslaughts. Despite their efforts, the Vrexer managed to breach several key cultural strongholds. The loss was devastating. Ancient libraries, art galleries, and memorials were obliterated, erasing irreplaceable pieces of human heritage. The emotional toll was palpable. Despair began to seep into the hearts of many. Dr. Carter and Commander Foster knew that to save humanity, they needed to mount a counteroffensive. They coordinated their efforts. While Carter fortified the Memory Sanctuary, Foster planned a daring operation to strike at the heart of the Vrexer's invasion apparatus. In a bold move, Foster's team infiltrated the Vrexer's flagship, a colossal vessel that served as the epicenter of their psychic assault. The mission was fraught with danger, but it was their only hope. Inside the vessel, they encountered Vrexer warriors and advanced security systems designed to protect their central consciousness disruption array. Elena Carter, from her position back on the space station, provided real-time guidance. Using her knowledge of Vrexer technology, she helped Foster's team navigate the vessel and reach the core of the array. The team fought fiercely, and with Elena's strategic input, they managed to disable the array, causing a massive feedback loop that disrupted the Vrexer's control over human consciousness. The aftermath of the operation was a turning point. The Vrexer's assault faltered, and humanity began to recover. The Memory Sanctuary, now more robust than ever, allowed people to reconnect with their lost memories and emotions. The cultural sites that had been destroyed could never be fully restored, but their significance lived on through the preserved memories. The victory was not without cost. Many lives were lost, and the scars of the battle would remain. However, the resilience of the human spirit had been proven. Despite the Vrexers' attempt to eradicate their culture and identity, humanity emerged stronger, their spirit unbroken. In the quiet that followed the conflict, people found solace in their shared experiences and memories. They rebuilt what had been lost, drawing strength from their past and looking forward to a future shaped by their enduring spirit. The battle had shown that while technology and might were powerful, the true strength of humanity lay in its collective memory and emotional resilience. As the stars once again shone brightly in the sky, humanity stood united, a testament to the invincibility of the human spirit. The Vrexer had learned that while they could attack the mind, they could not extinguish the enduring flame of human courage and hope. Commander Foster, meanwhile, led a series of high-stakes missions to protect critical cultural sites across the galaxy. The Vrexers' technology was advanced, their weaponry designed to bypass conventional defenses and strike directly at the heart of human identity. With every skirmish, the stakes rose higher, and Foster's strategies became increasingly desperate. On one particular mission, Foster's team was tasked with defending the Great Archive on the planet Etheris, a repository of humanity's most significant historical records. As they approached the site, the sky above Etheris was a chaotic tapestry of explosions and energy bursts. The Vrexer had deployed a formidable fleet, their ships cutting through space like knives through fabric. Inside the Great Archive, the tension was palpable. The staff, a team of archivists and historians, worked frantically to protect the precious knowledge contained within. Elena Carter, who had traveled to Etheris to oversee the defense of the memory sanctuary, coordinated with Foster to ensure that the archive's defenses held. "We need to hold them off just a little longer," Elena said, her voice steady despite the chaos surrounding them. "The memory sanctuary is almost fully operational. Once it's online, we can start transferring the data." Foster nodded, his face set in grim determination. "We're not just fighting for data. We're fighting for our very existence. Let's make sure the Vrexer understand that." The battle raged outside, with Vrexer forces pressing in from all sides. Foster's team, a crack unit of soldiers, engaged the alien invaders with precision and bravery. Every inch of ground was contested fiercely. Despite their technological superiority, the Vrexer seemed surprised by the resilience of the human defenders. Inside the Great Archive, Elena monitored the status of the memory sanctuary. The system was designed to be a comprehensive digital repository, capable of holding the entirety of human culture and history. But the Vrexers' interference made the process painstakingly slow. Every time they attempted to upload data, the system faced disruptions. Come on, Elena muttered to herself, eyes glued to the screens. Just a bit more. The Vrexer were relentless. Their attempts to breach the archive's defenses became more aggressive. Foster's team fought bravely, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that their fight was not just physical but ideological. They were defending the very soul of humanity. The climax of the battle came when the Vrexer deployed their most devastating weapon yet, an energy cannon designed to breach the archive's core defenses. The cannon's beam sliced through space, aimed directly at the Great Archive. "Incoming," one of Foster's lieutenants shouted, pointing at the massive beam hurtling toward them. Foster's tactical mind raced. Deploy countermeasures. Protect the core at all costs. In a flurry of activity, the soldiers set up energy shields and defensive barriers. The beam struck the shields with immense force, causing the ground to tremble and the air to vibrate with the intensity of the impact. The defensive systems groaned under the strain, but they held. Meanwhile, Elena was at the brink of despair. The memory sanctuary was almost fully operational, but the Vrexer's interference threatened to destroy everything they had worked for. She couldn't afford to lose this battle, not when the future of human culture and identity hung in the balance. With a final surge of effort, Elena initiated the last phase of the upload. The memory sanctuary's virtual space began to fill with the richness of human history, stories of triumph and tragedy, art and science, love and loss. The data streamed in, a torrent of human experience flowing into the sanctuary. Outside, the battle reached its peak. Foster's team, battered and exhausted, continued to fight with every ounce of strength they had. The Vrexer, seeing the resilience of their enemies, began to falter. Their once cohesive assault turned into a desperate, disorganized push. As the energy cannon's beam faded and the Vrexer's forces began to retreat, Foster and his team stood victorious. The Great Archive had been saved, and the memory sanctuary was now a beacon of human endurance. The Vrexer had underestimated the strength of the human spirit. In the aftermath of the battle, Elena and Foster stood amidst the ruins of the Great Archive, now a symbol of humanity's triumph. The memory sanctuary had been preserved, its virtual halls filled with the essence of what it meant to be human. "It's over," Elena said, her voice weary but filled with a sense of accomplishment. "We did it." Foster nodded, a rare smile breaking through his stern exterior. "Yes, we did. We proved that our spirit is stronger than any force that tries to break it." As they looked out at the stars, they knew that the fight was far from over. The Vrexer would regroup, and new threats would emerge. But for now, humanity had shown its strength, its resilience, and its unbreakable spirit. They had defended not just their physical existence but the very core of who they were, and in that moment, amidst the remnants of battle and the vast expanse of the cosmos, they understood that the human spirit was indeed invincible, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that their fight was not just for survival but for the preservation of everything humanity had built over millennia. The ground shook with the impact of energy blasts as Vrexer troops attempted to breach the archive's defenses. Foster barked orders, his voice cutting through the din of battle. "Push them back. We can't let them get any closer." Outside, the conflict reached a fever pitch. The Vrexer's ships unleashed a barrage of energy weapons, their precision attacks aimed at dismantling the archive's shield generators. Each successful hit sent ripples of shockwaves through the area, causing the defenders to scramble to maintain their positions. Foster's team was pushed to their limits. The Vrexer, seemingly aware of the importance of the archive, concentrated their efforts on breaching it. Despite their best efforts, the human forces managed to keep the Vrexer at bay, buying time for Elena and her team inside. Elena worked furiously at her control station, her fingers flying over the console. The memory sanctuary was close to completion, but the constant interference from the Vrexer's technology made every progress fragile. "Just a few more minutes," she said under her breath, her voice taut with concentration. The atmosphere inside the archive was a blend of tension and urgency. Every second that passed seemed like an eternity, with the battle outside growing more intense. Elena's team, working alongside Foster's soldiers, did everything in their power to maintain the integrity of the archive's defenses. Finally, a breakthrough. Elena saw the system's status shift on her display. "It's working," she exclaimed. "We've got the first data stream uploading. Now, let's make it count." With the memory sanctuary partially operational, the data began flowing through its virtual channels. Elena watched as the digital repository began filling with humanity's collective memory, a tapestry of culture and history that had been under threat. The data transfer was a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, symbolizing the enduring spirit of humanity. Outside, Foster and his team continued to battle fiercely, their resolve unwavering. The Vrexer, realizing the significance of their failure to breach the archive, intensified their assault in a desperate bid to overwhelm the human defenders. But the tenacity of Foster's team, coupled with the sheer determination of the archive's staff, managed to stave off the Vrexer's attacks. As the hours wore on, the tide of the battle began to shift. The Vrexer, battered and unable to breach the archive's defenses, started to pull back. The human forces, though exhausted, held their ground. The great archive, though scarred from the battle, remained intact. The memory sanctuary continued to operate, preserving the essence of humanity against the Vrexer's relentless onslaught. The battle on Etheris was a turning point. The Vrexer, having underestimated the resilience of human culture and spirit, found themselves facing an adversary they could not easily defeat. The human ability to preserve their memories and emotions proved to be a powerful counter to the Vrexer's attempts at destruction. As the Vrexer withdrew, the defenders of the Great Archive took stock of their situation. The archive had survived, and the memory sanctuary was operational. The battle had been fierce, but the spirit of humanity had emerged victorious. The struggle was far from over, but the preservation of human culture and identity was a significant triumph in the face of an existential threat. Dr. Elena Carter and Commander Jake Foster stood together amidst the aftermath of the battle, their faces marked by exhaustion but illuminated by a sense of hard-won victory. They knew that the fight for humanity's spirit would continue, but the success of the Great Archive's defense was a testament to the indomitable strength of the human spirit. In the end, the story of the battle for Etheris would be remembered not just for the heroics of those who fought but for the enduring proof that humanity's culture and spirit were indeed unbreakable. The Vrexer had sought to dismantle the essence of what it meant to be human, but in their failure, they had unwittingly reinforced it. Humanity's memory and emotion were not just remnants of the past but living, breathing components of an unyielding future. And so, as the stars shimmered once more across the galaxy, the legacy of the Great Archive and the Memory Sanctuary stood as a beacon of hope and resilience, a symbol of humanity's unwavering spirit against all odds.